Jamie, if you were in the boss's shoes, what changes would you make?
Well, I'd play a left back to start with. I think Kieran Trippier played okay, but I just, as an attacking threat to get balls in the box, to get the right crossing, I think you got to play. You got to play a left back.
Which one?
I like Luke Shaw, I like Ben Chilwell. I like them both.
Yeah.
But they're equally as good as each other, in my opinion. So I'm not sure why he didn't, but it obviously worked, got a result. So, but I think going forward, I think you need that balance. I think having a proper left back in your side just gives you better balance with width and crosses, and I think that's what Harry Kane needs as well, to get him higher up the pitch, crosses in the box. Kyle Walker had one of his worst games I've seen him play, but he was. Still defensively sound. I'd actually take Foden out the team. Not because he played bad the other day.
Just keep it fresh.
Just keep it fresh. I'd freshen it up a little bit. I'd start Grealish. I'd play Sterling on the right, and I'd play Grealish, because I think we lacked a little bit of creativity, a little bit of a cutting edge. And Foden had some decent moments. Keeps the ball very simple, Phil Foden. He keeps it, and I love that about him. And he works hard. But I think against Scotland, against that back three, you can really hurt them with a key pass or a bit of creativity. I personally, I'd freshen it up a little bit and start Grealish.
It was interesting watching the game. Excuse me, Jamie. Looking at it, I don't know what you thought. They have got enormous creativity in their side. Where you look at Grealish, Foden, and boys like that, but it was actually Phillips that created
He was brilliant
for the goal. I thought he was an outstanding performance, and then to come in off the right hand side. Perfectly weighted pass for Sterling. It was a top goal.
I have to hold my hands up a little bit with Phillips, because I obviously knew he was a good player. Watched him for Leeds. He's been a decent performer in the Premier League this season. But the level that he played at against Croatia was exceptional.
Yeah.
He was head and shoulders above some of the rest. And to play in such a big moment in a major tournament against a Ballon d'Or winner in Luka Modric, and to kind of almost run the game. I was so impressed with him, with his energy, the way he got forward as well. He didn't just sit. He didn't keep it simple. He was really, really impressive. And I held my hands up and say maybe I thought he wasn't ready for that sort of exposure in a big tournament, but he proved everyone wrong.
I think you can be forgiven for that, because his trajectory has been incredible. Leeds fans will be screaming from the rooftops saying that they knew it all along. If you hadn't watched him much before he came to the Premier League, I think a lot of people would have said the step up from the Championship to Premier League to international football at a major tournament as well.
Yeah.
It makes it all the more impressive, Ali, doesn't it?
I thought it was a fantastic performance. But you spoke about it. Phillips kind of epitomises the Leeds team in terms of boys come up from the division below, and everybody's asking questions, whether it's Bamford, who can consider himself unlucky not to be in the squad. And he, if anything, what everybody's talking about or a little bit concerned at the start of the Euros when Gareth was picking his squad, will Jordan Henderson be fit? Because myself included thought he would be an integral part of the team. Might still be, moving forward, but all of a sudden, you've got an answer to a question. If Henderson had played, there'd have been a question mark. Can Phillips come in and do it?
Yeah,
your question's answered.
I worry a little bit about Harry Kane. He just looked a little bit sort of off it.
It'll be fine, no, Jamie. Do you know what I mean?
I know it was hot. I look at the game, I think, it was really hot to lead a line on your own in that heat. And he's trying to drop into pockets. He's trying to get in the box. He looks a little bit tired.
Particularly when a fully fit and sharp Harry Kane would have scored the one at the back post.
Yeah.
He'd have got there a split second earlier and knocked it in. I don't think there's any getting away from it. But I've got to say, Jamie, I'm with Harry on that one. I think Kane's just too good. You get the ball in the box and he'll score.
What I worry about with us though, when I watch England, I when it comes to the last 10 minutes, and I don't know what it is with English sides, it's like we don't have this belief that we're this belief that we're good enough that we can win games and see games out comfortably, because in them last 10 minutes Croatia dominated the ball, we had chances, we kept giving the ball away, we didn't manage the game well.
You never feel like they've killed it off.
You never feel like we're
uncomfortable.
It's just uncomfortable. And I watch, and I know Spain, like they were obviously boring to watch, but they keep the ball for fun.
They dominate possession.
Yeah, if they go 1-0 up, that game they won that game. Yeah. They're not giving the ball away. And I just feel like with this England team, with such great players that we've got, believe in yourselves. You can keep the ball under pressure in the 85th minute instead of just kicking it away or giving it back to the keeper. Like, believe in yourselves that we can keep it and still dominate possession because we're good enough.
Score more goals as well. Like all that attacking talent.
That was the only thing. That was the only thing. You wouldn't even call it a disappointment. But if Gareth's looking at the performance, he'd have been delighted with a vast majority of it. But they could probably have done with scoring maybe a couple of more goals. That's the only thing. You look at the decisions he made. I was surprised at Trippier left back.
Nice to score though, isn't it?
Of course it is. I was surprised at Trippier left back. Very surprised at that. Phillips was an eyebrow raiser at the time. Sterling was one that were question marks. You can't argue with it. All his decisions went well for him,
Yeah.
Positives as well. I think that a lot of people identified if there's an area of weakness, it's probably the central defence area. No Maguire, we were worried about that. But Stones and Mings had a good game together equally. That is probably the one area you'd say that we need to focus on a little bit more. But as they go through these tournaments and they start to win more games, so they get a win against Scotland as well, that confidence is suddenly going to come, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as the tournament grows, the confidence will grow in the team, and I think Mings is a top player. I mean, everyone gives him a bit of stick, say he's not good enough. I really like him. He's got pace, he's strong. You can hear him. He's a leader on the pitch. When Grealish was injured for Villa, he was the captain. So I think he gets a bit of unfair criticism, in my opinion. Stones for me is a top player as well. So I'm quietly confident in the back four. I really am. I'd like to see a left back player. I would, but I feel. I was worried about the midfield. I thought we were going to be lightweight, but watching Phillips play and how good he was, that kind of just was calmed the sort of nerves down. I think we're there with everything. I just think little tweaks here and there, freshening it up with Grealish maybe, or Rashford, and just little bits here and there, a bit more confidence in our play, a bit more belief that we can actually win the tournament. That's the problem we've got.
Declan gives you great protection as well at the back. I thought it was. It was a masterstroke really playing Phillips kind of one up ahead of Declan. I watched Declan pretty closely the game, and he just covers things. You just see him dropping off into areas,
Clever footballer.
Yeah, he's a very, very clever player.
You watch him as well, especially this last season and the season before, really, at West Ham, becoming that leader and for such a young player as well, having such an old head on his shoulders in a way. Like that, you talk about Mings marshalling as well. Declan Rice does that, and you're right. When he's in the side, you feel a little bit more confident, don't you?
Yeah, he reminds me a lot like Michael Carrick, and the way he plays. And when you have players like that in the team, you're just comfortable as a team, as a midfielder as well. And you've got someone alongside you or someone behind you, that can protect the ball. As a centre half, you can give him the ball under pressure. And he's not going to give it away. You need calming influences in the team, and I think Declan Rice is that. And I think the more players you get like that in your side, who are all comfortable on the ball, and I look at England's side, and I think every single one of them are all good players. They can all pass, they can all keep it under pressure. Just have a bit more confidence, have a bit more belief in you that that we can really dominate teams and really sort of go for the jugular. Because I think it's a great side, top players. I just feel we're lacking a little bit of belief that we can do it.